Well, it's cold for the first time, but we're back. Going into round 10, 9 or 10 maybe. I'm not sure. From last week on the paper. And just like normal, got the Guns of August there for our facts. And we'll start off the round as the Austrians' turn. Anything you want to add going into the round? Any
Um,
thoughts?
I don't think so right now.
Something we didn't mention in the last video, but the money's pretty balanced. The Germans and the British are both at 40. The French and the Austrians are both at 30, and the Americans and the Ottomans are both at 20. The Russians are out. And so really the only advantage that the Allies have in money is Italy with $10. So it's not too terribly much, so the money's pretty balanced. We noticed that last time when we were recording our setup. And yeah, I think that's it, pretty much. Tanks are in the game, America's in the game, all that, but that's nothing new. So, if you got nothing to add, I guess we'll get right into it. All right, well, good luck, and we'll see you in a minute. Okay, so the round is over, and we have our quick facts here.
Okay. It is a glorious and awful thought, wrote Henry Wilson in his diary on August 21st, that before the week is over, the greatest action the world has ever heard of will have been fought. As he wrote, the action had already begun. From August 20th to 24th, the whole of the Western Front blazed with battle. In reality, 4 battles, known to history collectively as the Battle of the Frontiers. Beginning on the right in the Rhine, where the fighting had been in progress since August 14th. Results were communicated all along the frontier so that the issue in the Rhine had effect on Ardennes and Ardennes on Sambre and Meuse, known as the Battle of Charleroi, and Charleroi on Mons. One more sentence. By morning of August 20th, in Lorraine, the First Army of General Dubail and the Second Army of General de Castelnau had battered themselves to bruised and bloodied punishment against the prepared defenses of the Germans at Sarrebourg and Moorhound.
All right. So, and again, from the Guns of August, we've counted. We just finished turn 8, the spring of 1916. So, the war's taken on and dragging on. So we'll just go over what happened. The Austrians came in and they built a submarine. They moved up to the Ukraine. And did they battle in Venice? I think they did.
They did.
They did battle in Venice, and that was pretty much it. The Russians didn't have a turn, of course. The Germans built another battleship. But they had a couple big battles, moved everybody down from Kiel into Ruhr. Had a big battle there, which was, I think, pretty balanced overall. And the Navy came in, and both our navies did pretty well, and all the ships, pretty much all the ships hit, so I just had more ships, and so the Germans lost everything except the battleship, built that battleship, and then the French and the English moved their battleships out to be repaired, and replacements came up to stop these couple dreadnoughts. So, let's see here. The French took Munich, keep pushing their armies forward, which is good now because now they're adjacent to 3 empty territories, so that's good for them. We'll see what the Central Powers do with that. That'll be interesting. Move their ships out. I think that was the only thing the French did as far as battle. Oh, wait, they did take Cameroon. The English kind of let everybody down over here. They had this battle here, moved in their guys, and left an Ottoman guy standing in the way. So they couldn't move up to reinforce Sevastopol. The Germans moved their guys down from Moscow and to reinforce Ukraine. Then the English army that was here slammed into them and did some pretty good damage, but took some damage in return. The Ottomans replied by sending a guy down to the empty Sevastopol, and they repositioned some guys in Ankara, and built some guys, put some guys up in Bulgaria, and they got 3 men coming down to Transjordan. It looks like, or 2 men and an artillery, technically. The Italians took their ship and went 1 and 2, dropped off a couple guys, and after they survived the mines, they landed, and an Italian man and an Italian artillery battled 1 Ottoman guy for Sebastopol and won. They pushed up some reinforcements up there, and they just got some guys tracing up. And the Americans pushed their army forward into Serbia, dropped off 4 more guys that were over there into Albania. They have these guys sent up, which is a mixture of the 2 men and 2 artillery from the States and the man and artillery from the Gold Coast. They sent their sub up, built another sub, another transport, and a couple people to put on said transport. And I think the Americans, they're kind of dwindling down, I think. So we'll see what they do, because they haven't made any money yet. So we shall see. But I think they've definitely been a nuisance. I don't know if that's good enough or not, but you have any thoughts to add?
I did a little bit better than I was hoping. It seems so kind of overwhelming right now. I wasn't expecting Italians to come up. They did that to me again.
Yep, that is the second time the Italians have taken a little cheeky $3. They did it in Mesopotamia earlier.
Yeah.
The British did not build as many men or as many stuff here, and built 6 men up there. And so we'll see, especially with the Navy. It'll be interesting if these 3 subs and a cruiser can hold off against a couple dreadnoughts. This is pretty much just a standoff again. They did build a sub to bolster their fleet. And I think that's pretty much it. The money situation is we got the French and the British at 30 and the Germans at 30. So we have 2 allied powers at 30 to 1 central power. And we have 1 central power to 1 allied power at 20. Or maybe it's 2. Oh, actually, there's 2 central powers at 20 to 1 allied power. And the Italians are at 10. So that is it. The single digits don't really matter as much, I don't think, because we're talking dollars and cents at that point. 7 to 9 and 5 to 7. So anything to add, sir?
I don't think so.
Alright, so I think we're going to try and play another round. And we shall see you after the summer of 1916. Alright. Okay, so round 9 is over, the summer of 1916. And we'll go over the turn in just a second. But we have a quick fact for you. Out of course, the Guns of August. What else would we possibly read? September 2nd was a happy day for General von Hausen, who found himself billeted in the chateau of the Comte de Chebrillon at Thugny on the Ain. Occupying the Countess's bedroom, the general was delighted to discover, from examination of her visiting cards, that she was née Comtesse de Leve Miripoix in her own right, which caused him to sleep with that much extra pressure in her bed. After dining on pheasant, obtained by his supply officers, who organized a shoot in the park of the chateau, Hausen counted the Countess's table silver, and left an inventory of it with the old man in the village. Alright, so that had absolutely nothing to do with any combat of the war, but still, bet you didn't know that. Okay, so on to the turn. The Austrians, right, pushed into Serbia against the Americans. They also sallied their navy out against the French and American fleets. After a few rounds of battle, all the dreadnoughts of the Allied side were damaged, and the cruiser for the Americans is no longer there. But the Austrian Navy is no longer here either. And a cruiser, the Austrian cruiser, was actually sunk by a mine. So it did not fight, which was good for the Allies, of course. The attack here did not go very well. And that was pretty much it, other than building some guys there and moving a tank and a man down here to protect from the 4 American men that were still in Albania at that point in time. That was it. The Germans then reinforced the Ukraine and pushed into the Ruhr and moved an army down into Hanover there. They also attacked the British submarines and the French cruiser, which did not do much. They damaged the other battleship, but as we know, it will be repaired this turn, and all those lives died for nothing. The French moved their ships down, and they also attacked the Austrians here at Tyrolia, and they attacked the Germans there at the Ruhr, not doing much damage, and kind of not doing so well in either battle. I shouldn't say not doing so well, but they probably could have taken Tyrolia, and they probably should have rolled a little better. However, what is done is done. The British then took the 1-2 punch and attacked the Ruhr again, almost taking out the Germans. And they moved 6 men down there from London, built a few more, and as the fleet is there, they moved a couple of transports down there just for safekeeping, and I can only assume are fully expecting to lose that fleet as we are outnumbered by the Germans 3-2. We do have the mines though, so maybe something big will come in handy. Ukraine, the English attacked the Ukraine, and actually only suffered 2 losses. And that's remarkable, as the Germans had 7 artillery, 6 of theirs, and 1 Austrian artillery, and they had unchallenged air superiority. So we did not do so good there on our artillery rolls, and the English only lost 2. The English also wiped out the Ottoman man down there, and combined some guys from India. Let's see. Oh, the French did move their ships back for repairs, but at this point, it may be a little too late. The Ottomans, after their turn, moved some guys up to Bulgaria, reinforced the Austrians in Serbia, actually took Egypt with a couple men. They're kind of stacking up an army here, so they did that. They also sank that Italian transport and built a battleship, believe it or not, but it is right there. And after the Ottoman turn, the Italians decided to attack the Austrians, which was a disaster, as they rolled probably 9 or 10 dice and only hit twice. And of course, the Austrians have 2 tanks, so they did nothing, and the Austrians pounded them back, as they only have 2 units left, moved some guys up, and the guys that were over here in Sebastopol took Romania. And then the Americans, to counterattack, took Egypt back. Did take a couple casualties though, a couple men, but we did take Egypt back in the same turn. They also attacked Serbia and wiped out the Ottomans there and most of the Austrians, as they have no more artillery and no more but 1 man. Of course, we moved our guys up from the United States and moved some transports back, built some men, and that's pretty much it on the money situation. Most everybody's at 30, but the Ottomans, the Americans, and the Austrians are at 20. And so their money is still fairly balanced, as the Russians are not even in existence. But we shall see what is going on in the next couple turns. But that's it for tonight. And from the Bastion, this is the Guardsman, over and out.